Welcome back to Network Nuts YouTube channel, and I am Alok Shrivastava. So, today we are going to learn a very interesting thing, that how actually Terraform downloads your providers dynamically from the internet whenever you try to run the Terraform init or the Terraform apply command, right? So currently this is my machine and I only have Terraform installed here, nothing else, only the Terraform is installed. It's a brand new machine or a fresh machine, right? So just try to understand what is the default behavior, how the Terraform dynamically fetch the providers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a directory. Consider that you have got multiple projects running and you are the guy who are handling multiple projects. So you are a very busy guy, right? You are handling project A as well as project B. So let's create a directory here. Say I call it project 1, right? I call it project 1. So I go inside the project 1 and it's a fresh one, nothing here, and I just write or create a small Terraform code to run a simple server, right? So instead of writing it, I'll just go to my GitHub repository of Network Nuts. You can also visit it and fetch it. So we have a lot of code here, so go to the Terraform one and I'll just use a simple instance, a very simple instance. This one will be helpful for me. I'll just copy the code here, which is going to just create a single instance, right? So I'll just copy it and I can close this one, I don't mind. Close this. I create a file here, say first server.tf, anything, right? And before creating it, if I give the Terraform version command, you see only the Terraform main binary is there. There are no providers installed currently in the project 1 directory. Fair enough. So I create a file here, the tf file, and I paste the things here. I just remove these things as I had already passed it as the environment variables. So guys, this is a very elementary code which is just going to create a instance in the Mumbai region. This is AP-South-1 is Mumbai. The idea here is not to give you more into how to create the instances or the resources. The idea is to learn how Terraform behaves with the providers, right? So this is it. I've done it, right? So again, if I run the command Terraform version, I see nothing here. It's blank. Only the Terraform binary is there. Fair enough, which is already installed. Now I give the command and there are no hidden directories, only a single file is there. The moment I give Terraform init, as you know, this is the first command which you will give. Now what will happen? The moment I give the Terraform init, Terraform goes to the internet, it fetches the additional binaries from the internet. So in my case, these binaries, obviously they are known as the dynamic provider. So in my case, the provider is Amazon Web Services, right? My cloud platform is AWS, so that is my provider. So the moment I press enter, Terraform goes to the internet and will dynamically download those providers. In my case, it is the AWS provider, and then that provider will be used to create the infrastructure on Amazon Web Services. Currently I've got nothing. I have got, if I give the command Terraform version, I don't have any provider here. Now I simply give the command Terraform init. Check it now. It is going to the internet. It is fetching the AWS provider. So these are dynamic providers, guys, and it is installed. Yes. So what's the change? The change is that if you see here, number one thing, it has gone to the internet, downloaded this, right? And then the version is 3.3.0, no problem. Now if I again give the command Terraform version, you see a provider is there. Fair enough. So we learned the moment we give Terraform init in the directory, right? If I create that particular provider will be downloaded, and where it goes, it goes, I just do a control, it goes in a directory .terraform, right? So Terraform automatically creates a directory for you. Here is the directory. plugins, inside the plugins registry, HashiCorp, AWS, and here is the provider. So that is the code which will actually create my instance on Amazon Web Services. So we call them dynamic providers, and they are automatically fetched whenever you run Terraform in it. Wonderful, guys. So now I can like simply give the command Terraform and Terraform plan. Obviously it's going to create it. I give a Terraform plan. Oh, not in this, sorry, I should be going in the project one. Yeah, here it is. So so we have just learned the moment you give the Terraform init, it will automatically create a directory .terraform hidden directory and will download the things there, right? The provider binaries, the plugins, right? So if I give a Terraform plan, now only I will be able to see that what the Terraform is going to do. Perfect. So I'm just going to create a single machine. So let's create it. So I do a Terraform apply. Wonderful, guys. Right, I do apply here. The only thing that I have to do is obviously yes. So we have learned this, that how the Terraform behaves and where the plugin goes. That's good. What next? But there is a problem. The problem is that if you are working on multiple projects, okay, let it create. So that's the step number one. We will go to the cloud platform dashboard and can check it, right? I can also check it by the command Terraform state list, that what are the resources managed. Perfect. And I have got a, which providers I have got only, oh, where it is, Terraform version. Yeah, I've got only this AWS provider is there, right? So if I go to my dashboard and I access my cloud platform, I should have this resource available there. That's not what I intend to focus. So you are working in project A, right? You have just created a server for project A, and for the project A, because you are doing it for the very first time, the Terraform goes to the internet, right? And it downloaded the required providers, right? So I go to EC2. We might have a couple of more instances running, but I will be more focused on this. This one is the one which we have just created, right? This is the one which is getting initialized, right? That is my AMI ID. I can check my AMI ID also, right? This is ending with 066, right? So, and that was my AMI ID ending with 066. Fair enough, right? So you have just created a file, or a resource for the project one, right? And the project one directory automatically have all the all your like your providers copied in it, which is good. Now what happens now? You are creating something for the project B, right? So let's create a folder here, project. That was one, it's 2. I go to project 2, and now here again I create a server here. So I'll just copy the same file, right? So I do a copy of project 1 first server in the current directory. I'll just do some changes here, right? So I call it say project 2, right? Call it project 2, and I can also give it a tags, so we will know that, right? Say I call it project 2. That's the tag which I had given, right? Now this is again going in the same region but a different instance, right? Now if I'm in project 2, now understand it, if I again give the Terraform version command here, hey, where are the providers? Now that is what you need to learn. The providers are downloaded for that particular directory, right? So if I will give the Terraform init command here again, for this directory, even the machine is same. The Terraform will again go and download the same providers again, which is fine, I think, which is cool because every project has got its own like providers and the dependencies. So it has created its own Terraform, right, directory, and it has got its own providers there likewise, which we had just checked it, like here it is, right? So now if I go and give the command project2 and I give the command Terraform version, so this has got its own set of providers which is installed in this directory. So that means, guys, all the projects are independent, right? They are self-contained. So you can, so every project contains their own providers, everything, right? So instead of downloading it, what I can do, I can simply copy the .terraform folder in a new one. I can do that. So in, right, say if I create another one, say mkdir project 3, right? I go to project and then I copy, I go to project 2, sorry, I go to project 2, I can do a copy of recursive verbose forcefully, right? And I copy the .terraform folder, everything in my home directory project 3. I can do this. So if I go to project 3, right, like I need to create a folder, but yes, you can do that thing. Or I'll do one thing, let me remove this and show it to you. Here I just create a folder say Terraform, right, and then I can copy everything from project 2 to project 3. So I go to project 2, right, because we need the providers. That's it. So I do a cp-rvf, right, asterisk, and I put it in my home directory project 3 .terraform. This will work now. Now if I go to project 3, I have a .terraform folder, right, and all the plugins are there. So if I am in the project 3 folder and I give the command Terraform version, let's check. See, the providers are already there. So you need not to download it. If you think that your internet connection is not that good, right, from the company, and it's taking time, so you can copy it, fine, that's wonderful. But isn't it, I'm keeping a lot of copies, right? If I'm working on 10, say 5-10 projects, so a lot of disk space is used, although it is like less than 100 MB, but yes, the disk space is used for copying the same thing in multiple folders, right? So that is consuming my disk space, as well as it is taking time, isn't it? Every time it is going onto the internet and downloading the things, it's consuming my time. Yes, this is happening, right? So what can I do? So why don't, the idea is to have a cache directory. Idea is to have a central directory on my machine, and all the directories, project 1, project 2, project 3, should be referring that particular directory for all the providers and everything, right? So the solution is, I can tell the like Terraform, or I can create a single directory for storing my dynamic provider binaries. Wow. So and then pass that configuration to Terraform, that we have this shared location where all the dynamic providers will be there. Please don't copy it in the respective folders. So how can I do that? So that way I will be able to save my disk space. I will be able to avoid going to the internet for repeatedly copying the same like providers for different directories, and it speed up my process, right? So how will I do that? Let's check this. So let's create a cache one, right? So I have got 3 directories here, and currently every directory has got its own respective .terraform folder which contains its all the things, right? So if I do a tree recursive here, oh sorry, see, so this project 3 has got this tree, then project 2 has got the same tree, and then project 1 has got the same tree. This is nonsense. We are just copying the same stuff multiple times. So why don't we have a single place where everyone looks for, right? So let's do that. So what I do, okay, I go to project 1, I go to project 1, right? So I have this thing here. So let me remove this. I remove the Terraform directory, right? Then I had to instruct the Terraform that we are using a particular directory for the cache. Let me create a directory first. So I create a directory, say under opt, I create a directory Terraform plugin. It can be anything, right? Terraform plugin cache, right? So this is the directory that I will be telling the Terraform to go and store it, right? So I will just have to pass a Terraform variable here, tf plugin cache directory is equal to the path, right? Your opt opt Terraform this. So this is passed. Now I had only created it. I need to Terraform to initialize or to reconfigure yourself, right? So I need to give the command terraform init -- upgrade true. Now it is initializing it because we had passed on the configuration, right? We had changed the configuration or trying to change the configuration using the environment variable of the Terraform. Okay, so Terraform has been successfully initialized. What difference will it make, right? What difference will it make? Now check it out, guys. A folder is automatically created. I remember I had removed that, right? And if I go here and see here, and if I go and show you the plugins and your registry, same location, guys, AWS 3.3, this, right? This is my directory, right? And if I go to the other directory, that this is Linux AMD, right? So so Terraform will do what? If I now try to go in this directory, say Terraform, sorry, I go to my project 1, right? And I do a Terraform init here, right? It is initialized here. Now if I go and check it, I go to .terraform plugins registry HashiCorp 3.3 and Linux, and this is the provider, right, which is there. Now if I go to opt Terraform cache, see here, it has got this registry HashiCorp everything, right? Now what's the benefit? Let me show you the benefit. Now say I create another folder here, say project 4, let's say a project 4 is there, right? Project 4, I go here, I just copy that my simple TF file, right? So I copy from my home directory, that is project 1, and I copy the first server into the current directory, right? I'm not going to create it, obviously it will be created. I just wanted to show you the cache behavior, right? There is nothing here. So if I note .terraform folder, if I do a Terraform init, see here, Can you see this? Using AWS from the shared cache directory. It has not gone to the internet. That is what I wanted you to see. Now we are saving time. So, and if I, because those things are already there in my hard disk, so why you are copying it again and again? That was the thing that the Terraform was doing initially. I had stopped that. Let us check. If I go to .terraform and I go in the same directories, so there it is. So it is actually getting it from the cache. It is not at all going to the internet. See, so that's the benefit of cache. So you should always enable the cache in Terraform if you have got multiple projects, right, and you don't want Terraform to download the providers for every directory. So it will automatically copy it from the cache right into the into your folder where the .terraform file is. So that is how you can save your disk space and save your time. That is all I wanted to share. That is all for this video, and this is a very important exam topic also, right? That might be that there is a project and you have a slow internet connection, and and you don't want your team members to go to the internet and download the same dynamic providers every time they're working on different directories. How will you do it? So the answer is, we will be activating the cache directory. And how to do it? You have just learned it. So thank you very much for watching this. I'll be seeing you with some hot Terraform tips. Bye bye. Take care. Godspeed.